on behalf of ATHENA International and to have this opportunity to share a little history and some thoughts for our future. 35 years ago in Lansing, Michigan, a vision emerged from a need. That need was the absence of diversity in decision-making within the community. Not unlike many communities around the world or across the United States, women were not included in critical conversations and were not seen as leaders, not even by themselves. The need to illuminate that women are indeed leaders was noted by Martha Mertz, and in 1982, ATHENA International was born right here in Lansing, Michigan. Martha and her collaborators became fierce advocates to identify and honor women leaders across communities in the United States and globally. Today, over 2,700 women and a few good men have received global, national, and local awards. They are ATHENA leaders, individuals who have achieved the highest degree of professional excellence, assisted women in achieving their full potential, and whose body of work has a global or national impact. Martha was the catalyst for ATHENA. However, it was communities across the United States that championed ATHENA's mission to influence change. One by one, from Lansing to Akron, to Erie, to Orlando, to Mesa, to Las Vegas, to Anchorage, and even smaller communities like Kaysville, Utah. We are having an impact. Over 500 communities across the U.S. offer programs to support, develop, and honor women leaders. Great progress has been made in cities and towns of all sizes, but we are not done. Worldwide, women continue to hold relatively few positions in terms of corporate leadership. As an example, for Fortune 500 companies, women hold just 16% of board membership, 14% of executive positions, and a paltry 4% are CEOs, and that number is declining. When unpaid work is accounted for in both developed and developing regions, on average, a woman can expect to earn 70 to 90 cents for each dollar a man earns. In the United States alone, according to the National Partnership for Women and Families, if the wage gap was not a factor, a woman working full-time, year-round, would have enough money for 1.6 additional months of food, and 11 additional years of rent, and 1.6 additional years of food, So for younger generations, like some of you here, you may not have experienced that yet. And this is because the gender pay gap widens the older that you get. All told, the pay gap in the United States boils down to this. Over a 40-year period, the average full-time working woman will lose more than $431,000 due only to the pay gap. To equal her male counterpart, she will need to work an additional 12 years, meaning that a man can retire at the age of 62, but a woman would need to continue to work till the age of 74 to retire on equal footing. Despite these sobering statistics so early in the morning, I feel strongly that it has never been a better time to be a woman, and it has never been a better time to be a leader. My vantage point, one of a 51-year-old woman, has been shaped by living on 4 continents during a pivotal time for women around the world. My proximity to women leaders from different cultures has shown me what generations before me has done. And I've also learned through mentoring emerging leaders, I have this perspective of the leadership opportunities of Generation Y and Generation Z. Gen Y and Gen Z are building momentum on the blood, sweat, and sacrifice of my mother's and my grandmother's generation, who gave us the right to vote, to serve in the military, and to serve in public offices in many places around the world. The opportunities are many if they are willing to work for it. The prospect that one day gender parity in the workplace will become commonplace is a testament to the efforts of generations before me. And they have done it so very well, paving the way for us. Consider Durham, North Carolina, where women in technology fields earn 98% on the dollar to their male peers. And in China, women entrepreneurs represent 55% of all internet startups. That's 55%. Today, in more places than any other time in human history, women are leaders. Women hold roles as heads of states, as CEOs, as academics, as Olympians, and maybe will be the first woman president in the world's leading economy. What's important isn't just that women have a seat at the decision-making table in all aspects of society. What's important is how women lead. We need to reach out to mentor, sponsor, coach, give back to our communities, collaborate with each other, stay true to ourselves, and be fierce advocates, and be authentic to ourselves. As women, we must realize that our full potential is not only good for business, but is good for communities, and it is good for societies as a whole. It is time for women to lead, and ATHENA International is in a perfect position to build relationships with other women's organizations so we have a greater voice. ATHENA International has been supporting, developing, and honoring women leaders for 35 years because of ATHENA leaders like you in this room. So what I'd like to say is, let's lean in together to finally shatter that glass ceiling forever. Thank you. So it is my great pleasure to introduce the founder of ATHENA International, the president and owner of Mayhood Mertz Investments, MSU alum, and my friend, Martha Mertz.